An attempted assassination on a former president of the United States. It's the focus of the political world as Republican leaders gather in Milwaukee.
Afterwards, you're like, I almost got shot today.
An Austin man yards away from Trump when the shooting happened shares his experience.
Because of what it is, a for-profit company operating as a monopoly utility in one area.
As Houstonians endure prolonged power outages, records show the state's largest city's energy monopoly has a long history of high-dollar donations to Texas lawmakers. The latest campaign finance report where the money is going, and the difference it could make when election season comes around.
If you put up the resistance, illegal immigration will stop.
As leaders took the stage at the Republican National Convention, one idea took hold: mass deportation now. We caught up with Governor Greg Abbott on what that means for border security in Texas.
Produced from the Capitol in Austin and airing statewide, this is the award-winning State of Texas.
Hello and thank you for joining us. I'm Josh Hinkle. It's the biggest story of the election season, the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. Investigators say Thomas Crooks took aim at the former president from the rooftop of a building just 148 yards from the podium. The Republican nominee for president was hosting a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania when the shooting happened. It killed a 50-year-old firefighter who was in the crowd that day. Crooks shot two others before Secret Service shot and killed him. Ben Schrader, a Texan invited by the Trump campaign to attend the rally, met the former president just minutes before the shooting. He first shared the story of his close call with me after the event.
Where were you sitting in relation to the president?
If you're looking at the stage, I was sitting on the left of the stage at the very front of the left, basically right next to the stage, was a VIP section, special guest sections. We were close to him. I mean, maybe like 50 yards, probably less than that. He's up there, he's talking, and I hear
something that said, "Take a look at what happened."
Quiet. Pop, 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 pop. I would say that, like, my best guess, I don't know, was like 8 or 9 shots. It was a lot. And I know what a gunshot sounds like. I get down instantly.
One shot! One shot! We need an ambulance!
And I turn and I look behind me and I just see, I couldn't tell man or woman, I couldn't tell anything, but I just see a lot of blood. Because about maybe 4 or 5 meters behind me and to my left, in the bleachers, somebody got hit.
Shot at the president. Somebody just got shot. Sound like you.
And so I look over up towards where the president is, and I see him kind of do like this motion, and then I see him just hold up a fist in the air. I immediately texted my parents telling them that, I'm okay, because it could have been very bad tonight.
Oh my God, we almost got shot. Oh my God, I heard that.
How are you doing now? Are you okay?
It's funny. I make a joke with my friends that when everybody else is calm, I panic. When everybody panics, I'm calm. At the moment, I was thinking, okay, I don't want to get shot.
Everybody down!
And so, but I got on the ground and I made sure that, I was the smallest target possible. Afterwards, you're like, I almost got shot today. I was really close to the person was, maybe a little bit farther than the wall behind me. And I was also directly in the line from where that building was to the president. That was right where I was sitting, standing up with my phone up. It could have been a very different day for me.
I heard it literally whiz by us.
You do feel a little weird, thank God. I definitely have to go say some prayers because I had my rosary beads in my pocket and maybe that helped out. Never seen somebody who's been shot before, but it's not a good thing to see. But I think that something probably a day, sadly, that I will try to forget.
You know, the political record in this country has gotten very heated. It's time to cool it down.
Soon after the shooting, President Joe Biden condemned all political violence and called for unity. It all comes as more Democrats call for the president to drop out of the race. The Democratic National Committee is pushing back its virtual roll call vote to nominate President Biden ahead of next month's convention, a move meant to buy some time as Democrats struggled to get on the same page. Austin Congressman Lloyd Doggett released a statement this week doubling down on his own call for Biden to leave the ticket. Maddie Beartemple reports.
While Republicans rally around Donald Trump, Democrats are delaying a vote of their own party's presidential nominee.
That virtual vote won't happen before the 1st of August.
DNC co-chair and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz says a vote will still happen before the August 19th convention in Chicago.
The DNC had planned to vote to nominate President Biden before August 7th because of Ohio's ballot deadline, but Ohio has since pushed that back to September.
That's why some House Democrats drafted a letter to the DNC urging against a vote happening as early as July 21st, writing there is no legal justification for this extraordinary and unprecedented action. Democrats will now hold off on sending that letter. A spokesperson for California Congressman Jared Huffman said, quote, "We're glad to see that the pressure has worked and the DNC will not rush this virtual process through in July." The shifting timeline comes as more Democrats in Congress call on President Biden to drop out of the race. The latest, California Congressman Adam Schiff, who said, "I believe it is time for him to pass the torch," but President Biden insists.
And I am all in.
I think it's pretty clear that Joe Biden is not going to go quietly into this good night.
George Washington University professor Peter Loge says despite the party infighting, a lot of this may not matter to voters.
Most voters, most of the time, don't care about rules committee decisions at the Democratic National Committee. They want to know, can I afford to buy a house?
In Washington, I'm Maddie Beartemple.
The president was forced to cancel an event in Las Vegas early this week after testing positive for COVID. The president was meant to speak at a conference hosted by Unidos US, a Latino advocacy organization. The nonprofit's president announced she had a call with Biden, who apologized for his absence.
I'm not supposed to be here tonight. Not supposed to be here.
Former President Donald Trump took the stage of the Republican National Convention this week. His speech started with the assassination attempt, but eventually moved on to the economy and what he calls the failings of the Biden administration. Our Monica Madden is here with insight. Monica, the Republican National Convention came just days after the assassination attempt. How did that change the identity of this year's convention?
Well, Josh, it changed the convention in a lot of ways, just from the standpoint of everyone scrapped their speeches. Who knows what they were originally going to talk about? We can imagine certain talking points that Republicans have been hitting in this election season, but it certainly just changed the entire dynamic of the tone. Even the speakers, for example, we had Nikki Haley, who of course was running against Trump in the primary. She was a last-minute invite. She says the former president invited her to speak specifically to calls for unity. And what stood out in her speech was she said, you know, that she has had her fair share of disagreements with the former president, but was focusing on the things that she does agree with him on. And that's when she formally endorsed him for his bid for re-election. And she talked to wanting to speak to the Republicans who might not align with Trump 100% of the way. And so we also got a lot of that more unifying tone from J.D. Vance, of course, now Trump's running mate. So really just changed the overall tone. I think there was a softer approach. We had a lot of the speakers trying to show even a softer side of Trump, who is known for his kind of bombastic energy. So it definitely, the whole mood was completely different in light of that assassination attempt.
All right, Monica, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
One night of the Republican National Convention focused on Make America Safe Again. Speakers repeatedly blamed President Biden's policies for illegal border crossings. Throughout the event, blue and red signs held on the convention floor spelled out mass deportation now. We caught up with Texas Governor Greg Abbott about the future of border security.
Former President Trump called for a mass deportation. Texas, of course, would be a big part of that. The logistics may fall on the state. How do you feel about the state being prepared for participating in such an operation?
Well, for the most part, there won't be that much logistics by the state, other than one that already pre-exists, and that is, if you follow the law, all local governments are supposed to comply with ICE detainer requests. There have been too many sanctuary cities across the country, so much so we wanted to make sure that did not exist in Texas. I signed a law in Texas banning sanctuary cities, requiring every city, every county in the state of Texas to comply with ICE detainer requests. So in Texas, we already have the infrastructure in place that would collaborate with the federal government to the extent that they want to identify, locate, and arrest people who are here illegally.
Even from an infrastructure side, as far as manpower, if the deportations take place, the Texas border, though, is their next stop potentially. Do you feel that Texas and perhaps Operation Lone Star is prepared, or do you feel there may be a need to even enlist more National Guardsmen and local police into the effort that Texas has at its southern border?
What President Trump will do, he will double down on that effort. He won't need our National Guard because he will be actually using the Border Patrol agents to do their job. What Biden has Border Patrol agents doing is doing paper processing, not patrolling and defending the border. What Trump will do, he will reauthorize, once again, the Border Patrol to do their job, and that's to deny illegal entry, as well as to use ICE for what they're intended to do, and that's to apprehend people who come across the border illegally.
Preventing disaster, major safety changes are coming to hospitals in one Texas city. The tragedy killing one person and hurting 5 others that led to a statewide investigation into safety in emergency rooms. Disturbing allegations drowning a Texas nonprofit in scandal. The claims in a new federal lawsuit over the treatment of highly vulnerable children.